No question, given that this is one of the largest free trade zones now established, this will provide a big lift to both economies. But let's talk about the winners with where you are right now over in Europe, especially in the agriculture sector, because Japan has had some notoriously high barriers before. What does this mean for European goods coming into Japan and the kind of lift they could get on the back of the agreement that's now in place?
Well, first of all, this is, as you're saying, it's a major agreement. It's the biggest agreement that has ever been signed between two parties, and it's going to cut 97% of all tariffs between the EU and Japan, and 90% of that starting from day one. And in addition, we are also looking at generous quotas for European meat, wine, dairy, and other kind of food products. And basically, Europeans are getting the deal that the United States walked away from when they walked away from the TPP agreement.
What kind of lift are we talking about when you consider the barriers that were in place before to the Japanese market?
Well, there are a number. I mean, Japanese tariff protection is actually relatively low, one of the lowest in the world. But as we were saying, the agriculture market has been heavily restricted with very small quotas that has been essentially expanded to the point that where European agriculture interests could export as much as they would be able to towards Japan. And then also, in addition, we are streamlining a number of technical requirements in food safety, but also in other areas like motor vehicles, clothing, and pharmaceutical in a similar fashion that TPP would have. And we'll even argue that the EU agreement goes further because EU and Japanese standards, for example, in autos are actually already similar.
Looking at the Japanese side, which sector stands to win in a big way? Are we talking about the car sector, especially given some of the headwinds they face in the U.S. market?
It's actually quite funny because the Japanese car manufacturer, for example, like Toyota or Nissan, is actually manufacturing almost all of their cars in the European single market already. So what we will be so much seeing is actually the parts rather than the entire vehicles that will be trading duty-free into Europe and actually made into and assembled into cars in the EU. So what we will first and foremost see is perhaps that the profit margins of these firms will improve. And in addition, also we have retailers who are expanding quite rapidly in Europe, like firms like Uniqlo, who is now building a big base and a following in Europe.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.